Alec.
Yes.
We've come to the end of season 1 of Black Mirror. A very short little stint into the Black Mirror world, but your introduction to the Black Mirror world.
Yeah.
I had seen all the seasons before we ended up doing reactions to these, but now
I've seen none of them.
if you haven't seen it, we did reactions to the episodes, so you can go watch them along with us for the first 3 episodes so far.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been Survivor was our one show we reacted to, and this is our little break between seasons, basically.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back to future seasons down the road, since you don't need to remember everything from every episode to really appreciate it, so be able to break it up like that. So we're going to talk about the season overall, though. Again, it's like one of the shorter series. It's like, sometimes these British shows, these have these short little series instead of the long form seasons.
Yeah, because I think every episode here is just about an hour long. Because if memory serves, what British TV usually does is, in terms of ad spots, I think it's the beginning, the very middle, and then the end. There's no 5 commercial breaks in between an hour-long program.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice, actually. Very refreshing.
So what are your thoughts on the first season as an introduction to Black Mirror?
The season overall, quite positive. I can see why there was an interest in continuing to pursue this series as a whole. I think that it does have a easy weak spot, which that is the first episode. But I think it immediately improves upon itself for the other 2. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It explored some pretty dark themes, but it's overall a really interesting sort of exploration of different concepts and storytelling. Yeah, I was overall quite positive on the whole, I would say.
Conceptually, I feel like it's very strong.
Yeah.
You get an immediate sense of what it's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Really pulls you in. Then it's like, oh no, really curious what the next episode is going to be. Every episode's got a new thing to look out for, and you'll see the effects of it. Obviously very dark in nature, so you're always going to expect something twisted involved, but
yeah, for sure.
Ultimately it's a sci-fi series about the effects of technology on society, and often futuristic elements, like technology we have yet to experience, we probably never will experience in some cases, but in the first episode is stuff we have experienced in some ways. And
it's the instantaneousness of information and ideas and concepts being able to be broadcast live, as well as just updating live. So the idea of mass media being able to sort of influence and persuade and provide instant feedback, I guess, along with social media, that being like a huge sort of factor in that first episode, which is called the National Anthem, I believe.
So it's like, it'll be an interesting thing to track moving forward. We can keep a ranking going of all the episodes. I guess we'll each have our own ranking, just like we do with Survivor. And we'll see how it develops over time. I think we can both agree that the first episode is the worst.
Yes. Easily. I think it pokes around with some interesting ideas. But I think ultimately it just ends up being like too weirdly grotesque. And I found that the storytelling and the plot threads were not super cohesive or together. Like there's like the whole side thing of like the reporter going to like find the supposed killer's site. There's like that whole like 10 minutes of that happening that just like doesn't really have that much of a payoff. I mean, ultimately, I guess what it does is like, oh, well, we tried to do this thing and it failed. So like there's that whole hope gone down the drain now. So we don't have any options left. So I guess it sort of it presents that, but I felt like it felt too meandering to like the main problem. And I felt like maybe more building up the relationship with the prime minister and his wife, and like of her really not wanting him to do it, and maybe laying out more reasons as to why. maybe getting more of a concept of what their life is like normally. Yeah, I don't know if there was just enough, maybe not enough of that to feel like the shift at the end was totally like it's obviously I would argue yes, it is justified, but it feels like too maybe underbaked or underdeveloped. So
Yeah, it's very surface level in terms of like talking about effects on society. It's like,
yeah,
I feel like any high schooler can come up with that like 5 paragraph essay on that kind of like
right,
social media news impact, but
right,
like the other two delve more in, or a lot more effective in delving into a different world. It's
mm-hmm.
like setting itself apart. Like this is the world, and this is like clearly built around this different technology and stuff, and how it's affected this world. Even the third episode, where it's not like very different from our world. It's just like
That one
slightly
specific
modified.
thing.
Yeah, but you can see how integral it is in almost everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, so which of the other two, how would you rank them?
So I think I would actually, I think it overall for me, it's ascending order. I would rank the first episode last, second episode second, third episode first.
Hmm.
Um, I will say the third episode is probably one of the more depressing things I think we've watched on the channel, just overall. But I thought that that all of the subtle things that it sort of ideas that it has, the thoughts of obsession destroying a relationship, cheating, destroying a relationship, uh, just the whole concept of the grain as an idea was just the small little bits and things that they sprinkled throughout the episode to sort of feel make the world feel built out. Like, oh, is that a political thing? Like that again, that one line. I know we talked about that in a review. That one line was like made such an impact on me when I was watching the episode. Is like the cool world building ideas like that.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of like peer pressure when it comes to grains. Yeah. I mean, I thought there was just so much that was really good in that episode, despite the fact that it was quite sad, quite depressing. It was good overall. I really liked it. And the second episode honestly isn't that far behind it in my eyes. I think that I guess maybe the sort of critique or criticism of like contest reality shows maybe was a little too like on the nose,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought overall the slow build to the very end was just like expertly done, so perfect. There was a lot of like nice sort of good feeling I guess moments of the episode until like the rug is sort of pulled out from underneath you. Um, and then further on, the sort of ending isn't the most happy thing in the world either, because it does seem that nothing's really been done. But it's interesting. Both of them are well. I guess to a point, all three of them are episodes that are stories that sort of stick with you. I would say I think 2 and 3 are a lot more effective at doing that. So 15,000 merits, I think, is the second episode's title.
15 million merits.
15 million merits. And then what was the third one called again?
The entire history of you.
The entire history of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a toss up for me, honestly. They both offer really different things, the last two episodes, and I like them both a lot.
Yeah.
I think I would probably be inclined to agree though with your order. Entire history of you is the best one.
Yeah.
Just because I love the technology so much, I really love the grain, and being able to just to speculate on that alone is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's just worked in so well. Like just the even just like the little minor things, like the interface of how it operates and stuff. You could see like I could just see that being how it works. How they just kind of like scroll through it. It just seems like they thought about how it would be implemented, and then just how it's integrated into the world and into the dialogue, and how the direction of that episode where they focus so much on the minor little facial expressions and stuff. But I really love in 15 million merits where they built up the story, and you like grew attached to the little relationship blooming, and then they snatch it away from you. That's really effective. You don't really have that same connection that you do. Like, you don't have that connection in the third episode. It's not like, oh, we see them as such a cute couple.
Right.
You just kind of like, you see like the aftermath where their marriage isn't all that great at this point.
Yeah, I think the thing that I find, I'm inclined to agree with you on that. I think the thing that is effective about the third episode, and I guess partially what makes it kind of more depressing in a way, is seeing things that you don't like about yourself in what the characters are doing. I felt like there are things in that obviously there's not a scenario in which any specific thing in that has happened per se, but like, I guess the overthinking things, the suspicion of a laugh or of a conversation that you didn't necessarily know what they're talking about, things like that are things that definitely have led to many an argument in many relationships, right? So I think there's a lot of like things I don't like about myself on the screen in that.
Yeah, and you could put yourself in his shoes and like see like, oh, I could see how this technology would have an effect on me.
Yeah.
Maybe in a similar way.
Yeah.
Whereas in 15 Million Merits, you can't really do that so much. It's just kind of like, oh wow,
we don't...
it's crazy to think that she agreed to do that, and then there's just like so much more of a question mark there.
Because there's a lot we don't necessarily know about their society.
Yeah.
I think that enigma though is what makes that episode work so well. That's sort of intriguing because we don't know every aspect of their society. So
yeah,
it's it's more focused on the concepts and the main character really, and how he deals with everything until where he has to sort of come to that final resolution, that final speech, which is so amazing. I think I would have to say that's the best moment of what we've seen in the show. That final speech is amazing.
Yeah.
What a performance. Like, just so much perspiration.
Yeah. That's definitely the best acting we've seen so far for sure.
Mm.
But yeah, there's something about the third episode just hits so close to home,
Yeah.
It's like a lot more down to earth. And
it's very raw, very real. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But overall, I mean, I love Black Mirror, the concept. I'm always into like dark stuff and thinking about these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's cool to get into those topics and explore them more, and it's like gets people outside of their comfort zone,
Yeah.
Makes you think. It's like the television that makes you think.
Yeah, I agree. I like I like intentional storytelling like that, or intentional viewing, I think is good too. That's one of the reasons, in fact, why I really like that we talk about this stuff. We talk about films and movies and TV shows, games, things like that. It just makes for more intentional viewing, which is really helpful.
You think about it a little more, because if I'm not reviewing stuff, and a lot of stuff, like before I reviewed stuff, it's just like so much of it just blends together because you just kind of go through stuff and you don't take the time to appreciate it and really put some thought to it. But when we do the reviews, we're going to do reviews, so we put some more thought into it. And then now like it's out there, so we can always go back to see what we thought.
And I feel like of all the stuff that we've sort of talked about, this has probably the most like conversation starters, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So that makes it really stand out and really useful.
Well, that's why I like stuff like this, and hypotheticals I think are good things for discussions, because it really has you thinking about things you might not normally think about.
For sure, yeah.
So, but I look forward to watching more with you. There are a lot of really, really great episodes that I know you'll like a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again in a few months when we finish another Survivor season.
A few months,
but that's okay. I'm looking forward to more Survivor, as always. So
what score would you give this season of Black Mirror out of 10? Probably
an 8, I would say. It's not perfect by any means, but I think that that's a solid number. That's a solid start for a first attempt at like an anthology series. Mm-hmm. So Yeah, I think it's held back a little bit by the first episode being off-putting.
Yeah, and that's the thing with
But
anthologies is like it's not necessarily each season's going to be like a beautiful product. Like sometimes it'll just
right,
be 3 random episodes.
yeah,
So it's
which
like,
is what this is.
what do you make of that? You know, it's not like
So it's
this is
hard to
the
even
vision.
really give.
This is the vision of season 1.
So it's hard to really even give it a review score of it. It's tough, but it's I guess I would probably settle at that. I liked it.
You just kind of have to average out your thoughts on all the
Yeah.
episodes. I would give it 8.5.
Mm.
8.5. I think the first episode's effective only that it is the first episode. So with that in mind, I do think I just enjoyed the other 2 episodes so much more that it elevates it for me. Future seasons, I do think are better for sure. I think at least the next 3 seasons are probably better than this, but that being said, I still really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's a Tarqaron score 8.25 out of 10.
There it is.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
So, what video would you recommend our viewers watch after this?
You should go watch our review of The Haunting of Hill House. Yeah,
it gets you thinking, I guess.
Yeah,
in a different way.
Yeah, it gets you thinking. It's it's on the bleaker, darker side of things in a few ways, I suppose. So
yeah.
I
want more haunting. When are we gonna get more haunting?
There was another show that he came out with that's not haunting, but it features a lot of the same actors.
It's just like the complete opposite is like super happy.
No, it's not.
It's like all the same actors, but they're doing really
I feel like
stuff.
that probably should be one of the things that we review for Halloween this year. Probably that show.
Whatever that is, yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't remember what it's called, but
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook at Tarqaron TWO.
Yeah.
Wish I could say come back next week for more, but come back in a few months. If you like Survivor,
we're doing that. We're starting that next week.
Some overlap. I'm there. I'm overlapped.
Yeah. Starting that next week. Woo.